Exposing the secret science in your grandmother's quilts, this is the lost art of surviving winter's wrath. For generations, families faced winters that were not just cold but life-threatening. The wisdom woven into every stitch of those old quilts was more than just tradition. It was survival strategy, passed down through the ages. Today, we're going to peel back the layers, literally and figuratively, on how our ancestors turned their beds into fortresses against the cold, using nothing but ingenuity, resourcefulness, and a deep understanding of the materials at hand. Before electric blankets, before furnaces, people relied on cunning, not comfort. Imagine a world where the only thing standing between you and the biting cold was your own ability to adapt. There were no thermostats to turn up, no central heating to rely on. The fire in the hearth was precious, but it could only do so much. The rest was up to you, your family, and the humble bed, transformed each night into a stronghold against the elements. Here's how they did it. Picture frost gripping every branch, the wind howling through crude walls. The air inside the cabin is so cold you can see your breath, and the floorboards creak with every gust. The walls, made from rough-hewn logs, are no match for the relentless winter wind. Every crack and gap is a potential entry point for the chill, and every night is a test of endurance. Yet, in the heart of this frozen world, families found ways to create warmth, comfort, and even a sense of security. In this bleak setting, the bed became a shield, turning fragile sleep into a fight for life. The bed was not just a place to rest. It was a carefully engineered system, designed to trap every bit of warmth the body could generate. Each night, as the temperature dropped, families would gather their bedding, layering it with precision and care. The ritual of preparing the bed was as important as the sleep itself, for it meant the difference between waking up refreshed and shivering through the night. The secret? Layers. But not just any layers. Each was chosen for a reason. First, wool blankets. Wool was the foundation of warmth, prized for its unique properties. Unlike cotton or linen, wool could insulate even when damp, making it invaluable in the damp, drafty cabins of the past. Families would often have several wool blankets, each one carefully maintained and handed down through generations. The process of making these blankets was labor-intensive, but the result was a material that could mean the difference between comfort and misery. Wool breathes and traps air, holding heat close and wicking away moisture so you stay dry and warm. The tiny crimped fibers of wool create countless air pockets, each one acting as a miniature barrier against the cold. This natural insulation is what made wool so valuable, especially in regions where winters were long and unforgiving. Even today, modern outdoor gear often relies on wool for its unmatched ability to regulate temperature and manage moisture. It's nature's thermal armor, better than cotton, which gets cold and clammy. Next, thick quilts. Cotton, while soft and comfortable, simply couldn't compete with wool when it came to staying warm in extreme conditions. That's why the next layer was almost always a quilt, hand-stitched, often by the women of the household using scraps of fabric and whatever batting was available. These quilts were more than just decorative. They were functional works of art, designed to trap heat and keep the cold at bay. Hand-stitched, layered, and packed with batting, they trapped heat in pockets, slowing the escape of warmth. The batting, often made from wool, cotton, or even old clothing, was the heart of the quilt, providing bulk and insulation. Each layer was carefully sewn together, creating a dense, warm barrier that could be adjusted as needed. In the coldest months, families would pile on multiple quilts, each one adding another layer of protection against the night air. Add more quilts, and you build a barrier that rivals modern sleeping bags. But the real game changer? Feather beds, above and below. The layering didn't stop with blankets and quilts. For those who could afford it, feather beds were the ultimate luxury, providing both comfort and insulation. These thick, fluffy mattresses were filled with down feathers, creating a soft, cloud-like surface that trapped heat and cushioned the body from the hard, cold bed frame below. 50 pounds of down feathers suspending air, giving you insulation both under and over. The feather bed was often placed on top of the mattress, with another feather bed or thick quilt on top, creating a sandwich of warmth. The down feathers, with their unique structure, could trap enormous amounts of air, making them incredibly efficient insulators. This setup was so effective that it's still used in some of the coldest regions of the world today. Preparing the bed was a family affair. Children would help shake out the feather beds, fluff the quilts, and arrange the layers just so. It was a nightly ritual that brought families together, reinforcing the importance of teamwork and shared responsibility. Everyone had a role to play, and everyone understood that a well-made bed was the key to a good night's sleep, and, in the harshest winters, to survival itself. The result, a cocoon so effective that even the harshest winter couldn't steal your body heat. Once inside, you were enveloped in layers of warmth, protected from the icy drafts that crept through the walls. The bed became a sanctuary, a place where the outside world and its dangers could be kept at bay, if only for a few precious hours each night. Nights were long and often restless, with the wind rattling the windows and the cold seeping in from every corner. But inside that fortress of bedding, families found a measure of peace. The simple act of layering, of understanding how to use what you had to its fullest potential, was a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. Our ancestors didn't need thermometers. They could feel the cold in their bones, in the way the air bit at their skin, in the way the frost crept across the windows. Their survival depended on their ability to read the signs, to anticipate the weather, and to prepare accordingly. The bed was their most important tool, and they treated it with the respect it deserved. Through trial and error, they engineered survival, combining wool, quilts and feather beds with precise order. Each family developed their own system based on what materials were available and what worked best in their particular environment. Some added extra layers of clothing, others used hot water bottles or heated stones to warm the bed before climbing in. Every detail mattered, and every improvement was a step toward greater comfort and safety. Stories and tips were passed down through generations: how to dry out a damp blanket, how to patch a quilt, how to make do when supplies ran low. These were the secrets of survival, hidden in plain sight, waiting to be rediscovered by those willing to look beyond modern conveniences. In the end, it wasn't brute force that conquered winter. It was understanding, adaptation, and the genius of layering. The real victory was not just in surviving, but in thriving, finding ways to create warmth, comfort, and even beauty in the midst of hardship. The bed replacement rule was more than just a technique. It was a philosophy, a way of life that valued resourcefulness, creativity, and the power of community. Thanks for joining Warpath and Wilderness. We hope you've gained a new appreciation for the ingenuity of those who came before us, and maybe even a few ideas for your own winter survival toolkit. Like and subscribe for more forgotten lessons in survival. The wisdom of the past is still relevant today. Sometimes all it takes is a few extra layers and a little bit of know-how to turn a cold night into a cozy memory.